Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Meet the Candidates this morning. I'm Nicole Sartain. I am the Nominations Committee Chair. Today's virtual event is an opportunity for all of the candidates running for an SPJ office to share their platform with the members. Each candidate will get up to 3 minutes to share their plans and ideas. I will give each candidate a 30-second warning for when to wrap up your presentation. We will not take questions from the audience, but we encourage members to contact our candidates via email and social media to get answers to questions that you may have for them. So we're going to go ahead and just start right off the bat with region coordinator positions. Mackenzie Romero is running for Region 9 coordinator. And Mackenzie, you're first. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'm Mackenzie. I've been involved in SPJ since I was a freshman in college, and that's included the past 10 years serving on the board of the Utah Headliners Pro chapter here in Salt Lake City. 4 years of those I spent as chapter president. I am the Utah editor, so over our Utah team at the Deseret News in Salt Lake City. And I'm also a representative for juggling back and forth the Deseret News and SPJ on a coalition of media outlets and First Amendment attorneys and lobbyists from around our area who represent the interests of the media and the public, looking out for access issues and records issues whenever our legislature decides to get together. I've really been grateful to work for the Deseret News because of our collaborative partnership. We're a joint newsroom with KSL TV, KSL News Radio, and our platform's various websites, including KSL.com, a major source of local news here in the region, which means I feel like I've gotten to know about the interests of journalists from a number of different platforms. I've seen the needs of radio and the way they work and the hustle in TV and everything that they do. And I've been really proud to work alongside them and in a kind of vibrant media market like Salt Lake City. Some of my goals for this regional coordinator position would be to, I think, check in and take everybody's temperature after the pandemic, to reconnect any lost connections with our student chapters and our professional chapters in the region. I think everybody for the past 2 years, I know I have kind of just hunkered down and done our best, done our jobs, and that there may be some disengaged members, that there may be some members who have just kind of been on their own, chapters that have been on their own that could use a little boost. So I'd like to reconnect with all of those chapters in our region, find out their needs, find out what SPJ can do for them, and try to bring everybody back to full strength.
30 seconds.
Is that my 30 seconds? I'd just like to thank SPJ for everything that they have done for me and for journalists for the past, I think it's 14 years that I've been involved in SPJ. I look forward to getting to know you more personally at the convention in Washington, DC. Find me and talk to me, message me on social media so we can meet up. And it's a pleasure to get to know everybody here in this organization more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mackenzie. I promise I'm trying to figure out that timer thing so that it's not that annoying for each of you. Nicole, you are running for Region 5 coordinator. You're next.
Okay, so just to preface, I am at a Starbucks, so there will be a bit of background noise. But I joined SPJ while I was in college at DePaul University, and immediately after graduation, I chaired the Gen J community, which is now kind of defunct. I have spent the last 2 years serving as assistant regional coordinator, as well as serving on the membership committee. I was also an inaugural Student Leadership Institute coach, and I am a graduate of the Future Leaders Academy through SPJ. I do want to briefly touch on my goals for the position, but something that I really want to highlight and use this platform to talk about is the lack of people who do run for regional coordinators. I think that it would be amiss to not mention that, because I think that that is indicative of the organization's health overall. And with that, regional coordinators are the connection between chapters and members to the national board and headquarters. And without having multiple candidates in those positions, it eliminates choice. And it's not the best candidate, it's whoever steps up. And so something that is really important to me is to make sure that in 2 years, I'm not running unopposed again, and that there is actually an election to take place in this position. The other goals that I have are to reestablish the DePaul chapter. DePaul is where SPJ was founded in 1909, and they currently do not have a student chapter. I've already started talks for that. I also want to increase overall communication for Region 5, and one of the ideas that I have is to try to create student regional interns to try to promote student involvement on the regional level.
Thank you, Nicole. Next, we will have Jenny Mccabe. She is running for re-election for Region 4 coordinator. Jenny?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny Mccabe. I'm the current Region 4 coordinator and the president of the Greater Cincinnati Pro Chapter. I also serve as the board member and a secretary for SPJ's freelance community. SPJ's Region 4 serves Ohio, Michigan, Western Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. I'm honored and proud to serve alongside many strong leaders and mentors in the region. Just to name a few people: Hagit Lamore, Tom McKee, Jenny Wolford, Corinne Menard, Patty Gallagher Newberry, Haley Colombo, Angela Gardner, Garth Bishop, Kevin Smith, Lauren Gibbons, Narissa Young, Beth Conrad, and so many more. The work we're doing continues to support SPJ's mission and furthering journalism across the globe. A few of my strengths as a leader include being a cheerleader, an encourager, and a team player. And continuing in the role, I would appreciate the opportunity to bring people together for a common goal. I've been active in SPJ for about more than a decade, and I have led efforts to create a successful freelance program in Cincinnati. It's modeled after SPJ's national freelance community. I've also been active in mentoring student journalists and partnering with other local organizations, such as Greater Cincinnati Association of Black Journalists, Cincinnati PRSA, and the Cincinnati Police Department, just to name a few. As Region 4 coordinator, I would like to help further the efforts of professional and student chapters in the region. I hope to be a resource to aid chapters and chapter leaders as we all work together to achieve SPJ's goals. The work of a journalist has never been more important, and SPJ's voice is not only beneficial for all of us, but critical in these unprecedented times. Region 4 has many outstanding members and leaders throughout the region, and I'm happy to be able to further the work of SPJ alongside of them. I'm excited about the opportunity to further SPJ's mission. I hope to strengthen SPJ over the next 2 strategic goals and initiatives. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jenny. Next, we will have Chris, who is running for re-election for Region 1, who I believe we are missing today. Anybody who is missing can submit a video. So if you're watching and a candidate that you have questions about is not here, you may check back on our YouTube and we will have videos if they have submitted them. Next, we'll hear from the 4 candidates running for at-large director. First, we'll hear from Peter Seke.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Peter Seke. I'm running for at-large director. After 48 years as a member of SPJ, I think I'm finally ready to help lead it. While I've been active in my chapter, I'm a fresh face on the national scene. even though I may have a maturity line or two. What I offer is the perspective of a lifelong working reporter at Reuters who has experienced the pressures, the adrenaline rush, and the enormous responsibility of covering news in Washington and around the country. I also spent 10 years as an advocate for journalists in my roles as president and secretary treasurer of the News Guild of New York in the most tumultuous period the news business has ever seen. Running a union or any other nonprofit requires a host of skills that go way beyond being able to write a catchy lead. My goals on the board would be to raise the profile of SPJ and to do all we can to increase our membership. We need to work with other journalism groups when possible and to distinguish ourselves from them when not, to do that all that we can to enable our members and all journalists to be able to do their jobs. The more visible we are, the more likely we are to grow. It's what I'm doing right now at the New York City chapter, of which I was president in 2014 and 2015. As the chapter's current advocacy chair, I'm working with other groups to try and salvage what we can from an ill-considered law in New York State that could put journalists in danger. That law limits the sale of body armor, and we're working with other groups to try and arrange a carve-out for journalists. My activism with SPJ nationally started earlier this year when I was asked to serve on the bylaws committee. We presented a set of bylaws for two scenarios, one in which we do away with our delegate system in favor of one member, one vote, and one in which we don't. Since I'm not a delegate this year, I won't get to vote on that decision. But whichever way we go, I believe SPJ National must do more to engage with chapters and communities. Since most chapter meetings are being held online these days, all SPJ board members should be available to update chapter officers and about issues and initiatives that are percolating at the national level. This was common practice at the Guild, and I think it would serve SPJ well too. Since I first joined SPJ as a student at Northeastern University in the 1970s, I've relied on it for a sense of community and purpose. I'd be grateful for your support, and I look forward to having the chance to make SPJ a stronger organization.
Thank you, Peter. Next, we'll hear from Kevin Smith.
Thank you. Peter, I want to thank you for making me not the oldest person running for office here. I've been in SPJ for 43 years, so you beat me. Congratulations and good luck. My decision to run for the SPJ board is born out of concern about the society's future. I served 7 years on SPJ's board and 10 years on the foundation. I served as president of the society from 2009 to 2010, and I had planned to gradually excuse myself from SPJ leadership starting in 2014. That was the year we passed the ethics code, and I was the chair of the committee. In 2016, I made the decision to leave the board, and in 2018, I stepped off the Central Ohio Pro Chapter board because it was time. I had been in SPJ for 43 years, and I have been involved with committees, boards, and foundations almost endlessly since 1988. But we are in the midst of making some of the most significant changes to our governance and bylaws than ever before. And there is nothing wrong with change, and we should think strategically about change in order to progress. I know that SPJ can be a slow-moving ship, and we don't have the dynamics to change SPJ with so few people making the decisions now, and that's what concerns me. I've talked to a number of people who I thought would be good board members and asked them to get involved on the board, and no one seemed to be interested in that. So on the final day, when I looked and saw that at 3 p.m. no one was planning to run for an at-large board member, I could not in good conscience turn my back on the society. I'm running now because more than ever, this board needs experience. 8 people are running, and 3 of them have never served on the board. 1 has served for a year and another for 2 years. I appreciate and I value their interest in running. But my idea is that we need to be running more experienced people. Delegates are coming into this convention, and they'll be asked to accept bylaw changes that will thrust more power onto a 9-person board than ever before. This isn't about just one person, one vote. It's also about shifting power to fewer people who haven't a great deal of experience on the board.
30 seconds.
I think now more than ever, small changes and large changes are important. You need someone who has experience in finance, governance, and national leadership. Additionally, we're going to be hiring a new executive director, and I have been through that experience. That person's going to take years to get
10
acclimated.
seconds.
Thank you for your vote. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin. Next, we will have Joe Radsky, who I believe is not here today. So Joe's video will be up later if he sends one. Adam Sennett, you may come forward.
Hi, everyone. My name is Adam Sennett. I'm the president of SPJ New England, and I also cover breaking news for the Boston Globe. This past year, I served as chair of the National Membership Committee and the Delegate Analysis Task Force. I'm running for at-large director because, like all of you, I love SPJ. I've seen the impact our programs have on young journalists and experienced professionals, and our ethics code is bar none the best in the business. And I think we've done a lot of really great work this past year, whether it was hosting the first MMJ town hall, which I believe 130 people attended, or the LA chapter helping pass SB 98, which was incredible. Ashanti did great work with that. We're starting our first chapter ever in Puerto Rico. We've done some really incredible work, and I want to continue to build on that momentum as at-large director. But I think there's a couple of things that we need to do in order to do that. One, we have to get our membership issues under control. If we can't keep track of who's a member of what chapter, we really can't do anything. So that's the number one thing. As membership chair, I have worked with chapter presidents who couldn't figure out who was on the roster, or who had members just mysteriously fall off. I've been working with lots of frustrated SPJ leaders on that over the past year. And it's taken up a lot of time that could have been used on things like recruiting members and developing programs. As chair of the membership committee, I also realized that we really need to recruit members way more aggressively. I was talking to some student journalists as president of SPJ New England a little while ago, here in Boston, and some of the responses I got when I asked them why if they'd ever considered joining SPJ was, "What is SPJ?" Which is a terrifying answer for a student journalist to say. If they don't even know what SPJ is, they don't know what programs we offer, what services they can get from us. So as chair of the membership committee, we aggressively went into classrooms and talked to students about the programs SPJ offers, and we need to keep doing that. So the other thing that we need to do is, as chair of the Delegate Analysis Task Force, I realized just how overloaded in
30 seconds.
Thank you. We are. We need to stop focusing on proposed bylaws changes and arguing about things that our membership doesn't really care about. And we need to focus on issues that are really important to journalists. So I hope to do that. I look forward to working with all of you, and I'm glad we're all running. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Adam. Next, we'll hear from the candidates for Secretary Treasurer. Michael Koretsky told us he could not make it today because of a scheduling conflict, but we hope he will be submitting a video like the others who were not here. That video, again, will be available on our YouTube channel when they are available. So we'll move to Israel Balderas.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Israel Balderas. Currently, I serve on the National Board as an appointed member, and now I'm running for Treasurer Secretary. I work as an assistant professor of journalism. I teach media law. I'm a veteran journalist. And I got to tell you, I'm more excited about SPJ today than I have ever been in my life. On the eve of probably what we're going to have is one of the most successful conferences that SPJ has had in a long time. I look back at this year and how we have gotten here, what we have done as a board, how we have worked together. 9 individuals, sometimes with different interests, but everyone with the same purpose, with the same why. Why are we here serving, spending our time on a Saturday, telling folks that what we do matters? And the reason for that is because we face unparalleled times attacks against journalism and against journalists, more specifically against the First Amendment. And so for SPJ to have a bold mission, to look ahead, not just in the next 10 or 20 years, but to be vital and to be important in our society, we need to have an organization that is financially strong, that is financially weathering difficult times, like possibly a recession, or maybe looking at an inflationary period. So what do I want to do? I want to grow our finances. I want to make sure that what we're doing stays in the black. That means explaining to the board why some expenditures can be had, even if we think they're important. If we don't have the money, we can't make that expenditure. But it's up to the treasurer to make sure that we explain those finances in a way that makes sense. I also want to help chapters when it comes to their banking and finances needs. I've heard from some chapters that are having to close because they just don't understand how to file those 501c6 forms that chapters are responsible for. I want to simplify that. I want to make sure that on our website, we make it chapter friendly so that every chapter knows here's how to take care of your finances. And maybe we can even help you to also grow your finances with smart fundraising. And finally, I want to help the regions when it comes to their finances as well. I am responsible for making sure that every single penny is accounted for, but I want to do it in a way that encourages regions to think ahead and to be bold. You know, I've been a member of SPJ for a long time. And surely, yes, the First Amendment doesn't change and ethical journalism doesn't change. But this is not the same situation that was around 10, 15, 20 years ago. We are facing some very difficult situations in our society, in our politics, and in our democracy. I appreciate leaders who have spent a lot of time focusing on SPJ, but I truly believe that SPJ needs to look ahead. And to do that, we need new leaders who can come in and say, I understand our why. And our why is because SPJ really matters today. Thank you.
Thank you, Israel. Lastly, we will hear from the two candidates for vice president. First, we'll hear from Raphael Omeda.
Hi, thank you for giving me the chance to address our members, and thank you to the members for electing me 2 years ago to serve as an at-large director on your national board. I have been an advocate for diversity and integrity in the field of journalism for more than 20 years, but I was a relative newcomer to SPJ when you elected me. I think you wanted to infuse SPJ with a new outlook and broaden perspectives. I also think you wanted an independent voice who listened to you as much as he spoke to you. So I hope I've delivered in that regard. Our members inspired me to become a lifetime member of SPJ. I've been a working journalist my whole career, both in New York City, where I was born, and here in South Florida since 1999. I've always been a team player, a proud member of the team that won the Pulitzer Prize Gold Medal for our coverage of the massacre at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018. When I first came to you 2 years ago seeking your vote, it was with a vision to raise SPJ's public profile. I am no newcomer to that goal. It's what I did in my years of service at NAHJ and at Unity. We've all seen the direction of public discourse in this country, and we've noticed that our voice gets drowned out in the public arena when it comes to representing our profession. I believe it's time to develop strategies to magnify the voice of SPJ. That is what brought me back to journalism advocacy and to you. I've spent the last 2 years getting to know you as a community, getting to know more about SPJ's history, its traditions, the diversity of its members. I came here to fight for you, and that's what I've done. It's what I'll keep doing. I fought for fiscal responsibility. I'm listening to Israel's presentation, thinking to myself, yes, that's what we need to do. We need to make sure that when we're deciding to do something, especially when it's something controversial, it's something we can afford to do. At this conference, I am asking SPJ to join nearly every other journalism association in the country by giving each member the power to vote on the issues that are facing us. I'm also asking SPJ to pass a resolution calling on Congress to make it a federal offense with enhanced penalties to violently attack a journalist. I've been in touch with the Congressman Swalwell from California with his office, and with the senator from Connecticut. They've both introduced legislation with that aim. So I'm hoping that we can connect and join forces to make that law a reality.
30 seconds.
Those who commit and incite violence against journalists need to be held accountable for that. I invite you all to visit my website at raphaelomeda.com for more information. I'm at romeda on Twitter, and feel free to contact me anytime. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raphael. And the last candidate we'll hear from today is Ashanti Blaise Hopkins. Ashanti.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to thank all of the members who woke up on this Saturday morning and decided that they wanted to come and hear from all the candidates that are running. I think we have some amazing candidates running for SPJ, and I think our future is very bright. I will say that I am a current president of SPJ LA in Los Angeles. I'm also an associate professor of journalism at Santa Monica College. And I decided to run for vice president of SPJ because I really and truly believe that the best is yet to come for our organization. And I know that as a leader, I can help usher us and make us the best possible version of our organization that we can be. So how do we do that? One of the things that I think should be number one on our priority list is fixing our membership issues. As a chapter president, I know the frustrations of downloading that membership roll and all of a sudden seeing that some of your members are missing. We lost 80 plus members at SPJLA. And for us, it was so frustrating because of all the hard work that our board puts in to ensure that we are providing programming, training, scholarships for students. And so we have to make sure that we are looking at the vendor that we have in Pexium and to figure out whether or not this is the right fit for our organization. So either we need to start sending out auto-generated monthly reports to the chapters so that they know what members are coming up, what memberships are starting to lapse, so that we have an opportunity to reach out to those folks and encourage them to keep with us, to stay with us because of what they're going to get out of being being members of our organizations. Or we have to get rid of Impexium and find a vendor that can actually meet the needs that we have. Our chapters in our communities are the backbone of our organization. If we are bleeding members at that level, then that means that our organization is not as strong as it can be. The second thing that we have to do is if our organization is really serious about diversity, equity, and inclusion, we have to get rid of the delegate system. The way it is right now is that only a selected few gets a voice in the direction of our organization. And that is not democracy. It's not equity. It's not inclusion, and it does not encourage diversity in our organization. I will say that the bylaws committee, in the way that they have drawn up the wording of getting rid of the delegate system and replacing it with a one member, one vote approach, does not give any additional powers to the SPJ National Board. It is the exact powers that they have right now, does not change. The other thing that I think we really need to focus on is making sure that SPJ National is supporting the chapters and communities. I propose that we create a leadership toolbox with a series of videos that helps chapters and communities file taxes, raise membership, fundraise, help them opening up bank accounts and making sure that they are fiscally responsible. That is part of what SPJ National can do to build a bridge and to break down silos so that the chapters and communities can start working together and learn from each other. The final thing I will say is that we really need at the national level to start focusing on the things that unite us and what we can agree on and make sure that we're moving our organization forward and figure out ways to compromise on the things that we differ on. We have to make sure that we are moving our organization forward. And that's what I hope to do as vice president of SPJ.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Ashanti. I was talking to you and I had muted myself. So that's
okay.
So I'm sorry.
I
hope you heard any of my cues.
No problem. But I just asked you to vote for me for vice president of SPJ. I hope to see all of you in Media Fest in DC in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this Saturday morning. That wraps up the presentations from our candidates. Do not forget that you'll be able to vote for the candidate of your choice. You will be getting an e-ballot in your email. Thank you to all the candidates who are running for office. We wish you all the best of luck. And thank you, audience, again, for tuning in to this important event. And we hope to see you all at Media Fest 2022. Goodbye.
Bye.